Hello, my fellow entities. What is going on? It's your boy, the Universal Entity, back at it again. And today, I wanted to kind of look at something regarding Kevin Samuels yet again. But in this scenario, I'm not actually watching him on his channel. I'm actually watching, sorry, my words. I'm actually watching the No Jumper clips. No Jumper is another podcast. The clips channel is like just over like 400k subscribers, but the actual No Jumper podcast, which are like hosting like 1 hour plus hours worth of like podcasts, is like, it's probably like in the millions, right? Probably 3 million or so, right? So it's definitely one of the better podcasts out there. Personally speaking, and this is my personal bias, I am not the biggest fan of the typical host, Adam22 or so. I believe that's like his social media name or so, because he does delve into like more atheist side of things. Again, I don't like hate or necessarily dislike. It's just more along the lines of like, these are just people who I can probably have good conversations with, but and talk about our differences and so. But I can never call people like this like real friends, no matter how much they try to be friendly towards me, also because of like religious, not only just religious differences, but also just the way they think. They're even a part of like the adult industry. It's kind of like an automatic turn off for me personally. But again, I'm just gonna stick with it. This is a very short video. It's like just under 10 minutes, so hopefully this video will be like a 20-minute video, right? Yeah, hopefully I won't be ranting off too much. But again, guys, subscribe, share the video, like or dislike, because I actually want to know your guys' feedback. I actually know that this is like poor editing, poor video quality, but like I said, I'm gonna try to change up some things regarding stuff like my actual official, like I guess you could say Universal Entity, like photo, like how I represent myself on YouTube in the videos and so on. I'm gonna try to get a more HD, I'm gonna try to get like a whole redesign basically, since we're like in a new year. But I'm not going to issue that out until the videos I'm going to be having like until like March of this year. The rest of them are going to be like typical videos, same old me. But I hope for a change, because it's like the 1 year anniversary. But anyway, guys, I think that's enough talking from me personally speaking, so let's get into the video. Right? All right.
What I can see from the data is 80+% of people date inside their group. Me personally, I've dated everything. I say make yourself the best version of yourself and pick from the best you have available. Because at the end of the day, we're all human, but most people want their group.
Right.
See, what I think the disconnect comes when you feel like you're having to pick from lesser options, but that's a function of you. Like you said, if you make yourself the top choice or become the best version of you, and you can say and know not what you want, but know what you need, that's a difference. Know what you need and then pick for that and outcomes, not for short term. That's relationship. I mean, think about you and your best friend. Y'all want to kill each other sometimes.
Yeah, this guy want to kill each other all the time, man.
But let somebody fuck with him.
Oh yeah.
I'm coming.
That's it.
Blame me back.
That's it. And that's the thing. We have that as men. Men want that with women too.
Thanks.
And women want that with men. And the thing is, that person may look different from a want standpoint versus a need. And I just actually speak to that. And if you look at what it did with the thing with Tommy Lee came on, she said, I really do want that. I'm like, I just want to trust. I'm like, I get it. And more women would be likely to get what they need if they are willing to be vulnerable and risk saying that. Because what they've been told is every man out here ain't shit. Ain't nothing going on but the rent, bills, such and so forth. And women today, in my opinion, don't truly know modern men. They know the caricature. They know the character of men. I'm like, the icon of men. Now, what you need to do is understand, if you actually understood that they're got wants, needs, and desires too, it will be a lot easier for you to let your guard down and let yourself risk being in a relationship, because it's always a risk.
I saw a video of you discussing this sort of Instagram live that Tommy Loren did. And for those who don't know, Tommy Loren, kind of conservative commentator and whatnot. And I had heard about the video because I was vaguely aware of it when it went viral in the early days. Basically, a bunch of people dunking on her and try to act like what she was saying was crazy. I actually watched the video in the context of you sort of reviewing it. And I mean, what she was saying was unbelievably commonplace, obvious shit. She was basically saying, if you're a guy and you want to be with me, or any of my friends who apparently also have good things going on for them, who are accomplishing something, don't do this, this, and this, because these are things that are going to make me not take you seriously. And as a person who's now in a relationship, I'm listening to her talk. I'm like, of course, if I was a guy and I wanted to win over this girl, you're going to not want to do anything disrespectful to her. You're going to not make it obvious that you're just trying to hang out with her at 2 o'clock in the morning because you just got home from the bar, etc. And somehow, sorry, I thought you were going for that. Somehow this is considered controversial, and I'm watching you sort of like explaining that essentially this is pretty standard good advice if you want to be successful in your love life.
Yeah, and see, we have made this so damn complicated.
And somehow this is political as well.
It's complicated. I mean, we've overcomplicated it. And see, one of the beauties of my show is I acknowledge men are visual and women want. I'm all about hypergamy. I don't. Yes, you want the high value man. You want a man who could protect, provide, and whatever that comes in. That's what you want. That's nature. I accept that. And men are visual. We have over freaking complicated. So I go back to something I said a little while ago about my Facebook group. Do you know what's unique about that? I just picked from men. I just asked some basic questions. How old are you? Your marital status? Do you want to be married? Do you have any kids? And then I just went and verified, where you work. I don't care where you work, but that's it. And from women, I picked women who are feminine, beautiful, and reasonable. That's it. I'm not a matchmaker. I'm not a love demigod, but I truly believe in human.
Yeah, guys, so listen, I've kind of made like roughly the first half of the video kind of go on without me really interrupting, and that's kind of on purpose for 2 reasons. One, I sometimes feel like I'm actually cutting in stuff a bit too much. I guess it's better for YouTube purposes because it will see it less as like a copyright strike and those type of stuff. But realistically speaking, I also kind of do it because I'm also a bit of a lazy editor myself. Like, I'm not really lazy, but sometimes like the times that I have to be doing these editing and so like I can't really do it directly after like I record all these stuff. So if I have to be doing it at a certain time of night when I've already done certain things and I'll be tired and so on, it's like, you get me? So it's like if I can't be talking to 50 different times, I'd rather just talk maybe I'd say maybe at best case scenario 3 to 4 times throughout a video and say what needs to be said. You know what I'm saying? Preferably no more than 5 times. I kind of hate when I talk more than 5 times per video, especially if it's like a short video like this. But yeah, I actually do agree with basically everything Kevin Samuels has been saying. Other people are more thinking along the lines of, what they want more than what they need. A lot of women kind of have the problem of like wanting guys that are 6 figures, have a 6-pack, that are 6 feet, and have a 6-inch, you know what? If you know, then you know. So yeah, and I think although I understand that women want it, most don't need it. And I've been having these talks with some people, even from like a more spiritual, religious aspect, in the sense that some people just need to realize that just like how Elon Musk's father and his grandfather, etc., had to be there to then create Elon Musk. Sometimes you're just going to live just an above average life. Like, let's just say, like, from a US standpoint, you're making 50K a year. That's like the average. Maybe you just need to realize that the most you're ever going to make in terms of like purchasing power is whatever like 75K can buy right now, and you're just never going to end up in the 6 figures. Not that you shouldn't try, but I'm just saying at the same time, like, maybe you should just accept that, like, after a certain amount of time, certain amount of tries and whatever, again, not give up, but just realize that maybe it's going to be your son or granddaughter or whatever that's going to surpass it in that extent that you really wanted. That's us it, guys. We want the best for our kids and we'll have them, and that's also a reality. We want them to surpass us. And if all of us became millionaires, billionaires, then how many aspects of life can they really surpass us once we reach that stage? You get me? So I'm just kind of saying. And I also want to also say this from now. A lot of people did not really know Kevin Samuels was not necessarily a matchmaker, especially outside of like the Facebook group that he always consistently talked about of like getting people engaged, married, like black people, like black couples. So yeah, a lot of people a lot of people, especially a lot of females, really and truly just heard Kevin Samuels died, and even here in Jamaica, I could still feel it to some extent that people in their individual workplaces, like where my mother worked, etc., were like, I'm not really happy that he died, but I didn't really like what he was talking about. So you can kind of sense that even down here in a third world country, they kind of felt like he was like almost like trying to get them back to the stone age of like women were oppressed, or I don't even know what the heck these people are talking about. They need to like literally sit down and do their research. I understand as a guy, yes, it's like a preference towards the stuff that he's saying, but still, can you really look at me and say that everything this man said was oppressive? Let's say even 80% of what he said was oppressive or wrong. And that's why if you don't agree with it, well, if he speaks statistical data and facts and his life experiences to go on top of those stuff to come to a conclusion, and that conclusion has to be a very good analysis of like people around him, maybe not everybody but a good majority, then he can't at least be completely wrong. Am I right? So yeah, yeah. And again, for those people who kind of may feel offended for me saying I don't like Adam 22 or whatever, again, please understand, I'm not saying that if this guy was like in a life or death situation, I wouldn't try to save this guy, but I'm talking about like from a friend's point of view. Like I wouldn't want this guy to have any influence on like any children I'd have coming up. I wouldn't want guys like these to be around people like I genuinely love and like I just would like to like have this guy at best case scenario as like a co-worker or like a distant cousin that I don't have to see like every blasted couple months, and that's it. I love this guy for conversations and to be on the podcast or whatever I do, but friends wise, no, I'd say acquaintance at best. But again, I'll still be a good human being and give him props because he has reached very far in life. He's earning some good money and he has his podcast, so I can't blame him. Plus, he interviewed Kevin Samuels while he was alive, and I can't really say the same for me. You get me? So yeah.
Nature, because image is human nature. I took men and women who were like-minded, and I did something novel. I put them in a room together.
Right.
And I said, here's what we're going to do. All the stuff that's outside, we're not going to bring any of the salacious, stuff that's just going to be openly controversial. We're not going to talk about that. This is a group for men. We get in here, network together, talk about business, and the women are our welcome guests. Guess what? Women get a chance to sit back and see me, you, and us to work together. Talk, communicate. They come in and ask questions. I was like, you got to be able to be willing to answer questions because this is a different kind of woman. She's already admitted she's feminine, this, and she wants to be cooperative and work with a man. Guess what? Couples are getting together left and right in there. I'm like, you leave people alone and we will sort ourselves out. It's called assortative mating. Stop, just let people be. But we've tried to engineer relationships based upon these false standards I won't say things that create a narrative that ultimately doesn't make either side very happy. And you leave people alone. What's really funny is when a woman says, you know what, I never would normally consider a guy like this, but he had already passed this basic litmus test. And I got a chance to see how he moved, and I like that.
It's the opposite of Tinder. Like when I was on Tinder back in the day, I remember really feeling like this doesn't make sense to me because I'm a guy who goes to the bar and tries to meet girls. I'm a guy who goes to the club and tries to meet girls. Somehow I'm sitting here looking at this app. It's got like potentially infinite women, and it makes me feel miserable swiping through, looking at them one by one because of the overt choice embedded in it. And what you're talking about is like, let's put a couple dozen people or whatever in this group and actually see what happens if they try to take each other seriously.
And you're picking on straight appearance. That's 7 seconds. That's a very small time frame. And I've actually helped guys write profiles And and honestly, I'm on these apps because I like to know what's going on. Tinder, which was one before Tinder?
Bumble. Bumble's a big one. Or it used to be.
But Bumble has changed. They've taken away the weight and thing. They want body positivity as this week.
God.
But I said, okay, you want that, but are you going to take the height and income thing away from men?
Yes. Just to kind of sidetrack right here. Again, guys, I'm probably not going to talk too much. Maybe more than 2-3 minutes on this. I really have a very difficult time speaking upon stuff like dating apps amongst even my own fellow associates and so on, or even friends, family members, because I've come to realize that within the Caribbean there's probably maybe only 2 really somewhat decent dating apps that can actually work for like a Jamaican such as myself. I'd probably say, and this is like for like maybe the 5 people who are ever going to listen to stuff like this, right? But for right now, let's say for maybe like that's a 2019. Let's say about 2019, 2020 to like right now. I've noticed, in my personal opinion, from like a Google app perspective of things from the Play Store, I would probably say Tagged is the best one for a Caribbean citizen, especially if like an English-speaking Caribbean citizen. I think it works a lot better if you're like maybe in Latin America or so, but I've seen people for even America and UK be on this thing. So a lot of people are on it. I think it's like roughly between like 10 million to like 50 million people on it. So there's like a lot of options on there from like a dating app. If you're talking about a dating site, I think there's like actual stuff though, but I think preferably Tag is the best one because I believe it's like the best one that you don't have to like pay any money for, especially if you don't like a premium package. Although I've heard about stuff like what's it called, the modified versions of these stuff that people kind of hack so you know can get stuff free. If you're able to like get like a modified version of maybe Tagged for like free or something like that, or you have to like do the premium version, you probably get some matches and so a lot more easier. But I don't know, even on that, it's still kind of weird because, as Kevin Samuels has said, the apps have kind of changed over the years, as I've noticed. There was even this like feed part of Tag that I used to kind of like, personally speaking, that does communicate with people what they're posting, and you could meet people even outside the age range or so. Because when you put on like the age range that you want to like be dating with or even see or become friends with on it, it's like, you know, it's kind of limiting as to change it. So it's like, it's good to kind of see that, but they took away all those type of stuff. So it's like, unless you're literally on the app saying, hey, hi, what's going on, or you happen to be matching with people, then it really doesn't make sense to be on the app. Not to mention that the females on it that are like talking about like, if you don't gift me, which is like something I have to like pay money to do, then I don't want you. Like think about that. You can't text a girl unless you're friends with her. Then when you become friends with her, you have to pay like gifts to message her, and she's probably even going to admit that she's not here to date. She's probably just here to become friends, and you're going to pay money to become friends with a girl that's not even like a, in terms of like from a scale of 1 to 10, she's not even like a 9 or a 10. She's probably like maybe with makeup added to her a 8 at best. Yeah, keep dreaming, guys. But that's something I kind of just want to speak upon, because I kind of agree with Kevin Samuels. There have been things, for the better or worse, that have been coming on and off of dating apps that some people are like, no, we want the old version of it back because it gave us more. I don't know, it happens to all apps or sites at the same time though, but I don't know, sometimes I feel like stuff like what he's talking about, like the body positivity, or like Tagged, removing like the feed section of it and so on. There are things that does kind of make it a bit not so easy for especially the men to be out there dating these females or find one that is actually worth dating, because I think these females, why can I tell you, they're on some friend zone. You know, I'm only on here because I'm bored, you know, whatever happens just happens type of energy, type of vibe. So yeah, it is what it is, guys. It is what it is.
Of course, you know, that didn't work. But I look, you know, Match.com, Plenty of Fish, and I'm like, I witnessed these things. I've dated on these things before, and it reduces people down to swipe left, swipe right. But then what's the success out of this? The success comes from just asking some baseline questions. You know what a Sadie Hawkins dance is?
Oh yes.
Yeah, that's
When
what
the girls ask the guys.
We
that's
miss
what-
that these days.
And,
Yeah.
and basically, that's what I did with Matchdoc. That's what I did on Facebook. I said, these guys are provider males, and you are women who want men. Sadie Hawkins. And I look up, and somebody's like, oh, yeah, I'm inside the first week. I'm in Boston. She's Atlanta. I flew up there. I'm finding out they're in a relationship 30 days later. I'm finding out, I was going to go move out of here and I'm going to go to the DR. I joined your group just because I said I would. Now I found my wife, my fiance, who's now my wife. I'm like, well, and the thing is, how can a guy who's an image consultant, who's now become a relationship guru of sorts, how can I do that? And all you folks who are in this business, that's really where I'm at now. Where are you matchmakers on? Where are your results? Where are these people? Because as an image consultant, I want you to come in, I want to get you square, and not want you to go out and win. I don't want to keep you on the payroll for a lifetime. I'm a failure if I said, if you need me to dress you for every dadgum thing, different at a higher level. But you see what I'm saying? You're supposed to get people to the where they can move on and do something else. But we have a relationship industrial complex, as it were, that keeps people single, miserable, taking Prozac, Zoloft, drinking wine, and watching Netflix and chill movies. That doesn't benefit the end user, does it?
And you mentioned Japan earlier, and I remember one thing that I saw when I went to Japan was the realization, the guy who's showing us around says, this is a building where you can go in and you can hire a woman to cuddle with you.
Yes.
It's not a prostitute.
Yes.
You don't have sex with her, but you lay there and you hold her and you
Yes.
stare into her eyes. So they've actually managed to, commercialize every part of the relationship so that if you're looking for an intimate connection, here's a,
that whole Japanese thing, it's crazy. It's and I will say this, no disrespect to any Japanese who may see this or to Japan in general. I love y'all culture and those type of stuff, but can I say it's most of the stuff are aspects about the culture I like about you guys is the fact that you like Jamaicans and the whole reggae dancehall music. A lot of people are trying to do a little DJ thing over there, and I see their YouTube videos sometime. The drifting scene over there, the culture about stuff regarding the world wars and even before that. But yeah, outside of those little things, mad respect to you guys, but yeah, I would never want to go live in Japan. That seems like torture to me, to know that every single aspect down to cuddling is like commercialized. And I'm not saying that there aren't stuff like that like in America, but it leaves the female a little bit straight up with you, and more than I can tell you that, listen, thank you for the money, but I'm not really going to come to you. You get what I'm saying? Like you more know it's like a finesse thing. But to actually know that there are actual females who can make a living or even a part-time job being to cuddle a man, I mean, good on them for being able to like maximize and stuff like those, to having to like have sex with the men. But at the same time, it's like, you get what I'm saying? I wouldn't want to be in a country where like almost every other like every 5 out of like on every 20 billboards I see, it's about like, do you want to cuddle? You get what I'm saying? And then that's the next thing too. If I were to go to like Japan, I'd have to be like in Tokyo or one of those more urban cities or suburban areas. I couldn't really be necessarily in the countryside. Or if I did just like a visit for like a couple of days or weeks or whatever, like I don't even know. Well, yeah, shout out to that. When it comes to interracial couples, my personal opinion is I am mixed myself. I am not 100% of anything. So if it wasn't for like interracial couples, I guess I wouldn't be here. You get me? So I'm grateful for that. But I do understand from like a human being point of view in regards to like continuing the race. There definitely need to be a few people who are like full on black, that stay black, to ensure that not everybody's mixed. Because I've heard like a few theories or concepts that people have come out and saying, listen, the idea to help create like a one world government or one world order, so to speak, kind of like what you would have seen like talk about in the Bible or even in I don't know, like in Falcon and the Winter Soldier, to create something like that. If everybody was like mixed up point that there is no one superior race, it would kind of eliminate race, and therefore When people have like slightly lighter skin color shades would kind of be like, I guess, the equivalent to like a white person, or how people perceive a white person in regard to them being a so-called superior race, like back in the days of slavery and so on. But yeah, outside of probably that, to say that there wouldn't be anyone's superior race, there are some downsides I've heard to that, regarding like how genetics would be, and how the fact that without like a pure black person or pure white person or whatever, it's gonna be, yeah, there could be like medical complications of things that are a combination of both sides or so on, that could be carried on from the genomes, and all that of madness regarding biology and so on, and even society. But it's not all bad, but it's not all good neither. You get me? And again, as I said, I wouldn't be here if it wasn't for that. So that's all I have to say about that. But yet again, another good video. I can't really complain. Again, I probably talked a bit too much, but it is what it is. I'm gonna get better at it as the years go by. So yeah, guys, Universal Entity again signing out. Thank you to all my entities. You can like, dislike the video, share, subscribe, whatever you want to do. You get me? You're free to do it. YouTube is free, and thus is my channel. I hope you guys have a good one, and Universal Entity signing up.